Welcome to an old friend, Matt Caldwell. Sir.
All right. Thank you very much, John, for the intro. As John mentioned, this is about my 78th Email Insider event. Last night when I saw John, he said, I feel like I saw a ghost. And that was another joke about my gray hair. But I'm embracing it, trying to at least. What we're going to be talking about really briefly today is creative. So I'm the SVP of creative for a company called Data Axle. And Data Axle is a large data company. You may not have heard of Data Axle. It's because it's a new name for two previously long-standing companies in the email space. So Info Group, which is a large data provider, and Yes Mail or Yes Marketing, who I formerly worked for, were two sister companies. And we finally merged together, and in 2019 changed our name and became a newer organization. Again, Data Axle, I do have two colleagues here from Data Axle, Jessica Ryan and Jennifer Gottlieb. And if you have any questions about data or our products as it relates to helping marketers acquire and retain customers, they can certainly answer your questions there. But today, as I mentioned, I'm going to be talking a little bit about creative. So again, I've been in the space, I've been with the company actually for over 20 years, which is hard to believe. Again, I have the hair to show it, but the gray hair to show it. But the one thing about us is that we believe we're the longest standing email-centric agency. So Yes Mail as an agency was started, frankly, because we saw that agencies really weren't focusing on email. Now, fast forward to today, we are, of course, like most organizations, focused on more than just email. So we do a lot of banner and display. A lot of landing pages, and lately, just this year alone, we've created 4 CTV connected TV ads, so we're branching off into video as well. I currently supervise the agency side of Data Axle, what we call the Axle Agency, and right now we're organized into about 8 different design teams, and each of these teams is either helping with projects where we come into an organization like GoodRx or Vail Resorts, and we modernize their email by creating large template systems and then helping reformat and get all of their previous email up to date. Or our teams work as extension of teams. So we do all of the email marketing for Marriott Rewards, and we have about 12 designers, copywriters, project managers who work alongside that organization every day. We do that also for Hewlett-Packard and Logitech, See's Candies, and several others that were essentially an extension of the team. Just 2 things that I wanted to speak on today, because this is an email conference, are really 2 things that we see a lot of promise with and that we frankly use a lot, that are kind of the bedrock of how we work and create email. And that is templates and content. So we're talking about design and then the stuff that's in it. So what I was hoping to do is just take you briefly through how we use these 2 things, and then perhaps if you're supervising an email program, we typically recommend redesigns every 9 months to a year. Every time we redesign, even if it's the exact same message, we almost always see a slight bump in performance. So keeping things fresh, keeping things modern is one of the benefits of these template systems. So as I mentioned, what is a template system? I mean, basically, it's a single HTML document. It's a design once, code once solution where we look at a universe of email and we say, let's make a bunch of different modules or Lego blocks that we can equip a marketer with so that when they want to make email, they have a pre-designed modular layout. You can mix and match and delete these things to create a wide variety of message combinations, from newsletters down to just promotions. So here's a few examples of it, and then, of course, a style guide or template guide that goes with it. But why would we create a template? So obviously, mobile ready, mobile first. 60% of all of our openers are already mobile ready. But then there's other things. It will speed up, and it's much more efficient to create email. And then, of course, images off optimized and personalization optimized so that we can flow data into the layouts is also very important. And again, one of the benefits of it is really just the elimination of all the coding that has to go on if you're not using templates. So for example, with this template, we came in and helped Bed Bath & Beyond modernize their look and feel. In the past, they were doing their email design creation the old-fashioned way, where they were designing it in Photoshop, and then they were making a mobile version, and then ultimately it got approved. Well, then there was another week of some poor HTML developer coding it, sending it, fixing it. Again, a template eliminated that whole latter step and allowed them to create email much faster. And again, whether there's one brand on it or multiple brands, easy to use single templates for multiple brands within a single company. So one of the most important things about it, though, is what we call design into code. So as I mentioned, we have about 32 designers. All of them went to art school, but they actually work in code. And it's not like they're writing code. They're essentially just taking those modules and moving them around using a HTML editor. It's a frameworking exercise. And then they go through and change the pictures and words. And that way of creating email is what we've coached several organizations to do as well, like Bed Bath & Beyond, like GoodRx, again, like Vail Resorts, where they were suddenly able to create email much faster. Many other groups can insert these template systems into like a WYSIWYG or break them down into modules within their ESP. But again, a faster, easier way to create. And then one last thing on templates is that people often ask us, doesn't it get the same look and feel all the time? What we do is we put a lot of emphasis on these feature modules, the very first module in the template, and by changing those up, like we do with Olive Garden, we can keep the emails fresh and looking different. We've actually done with a side-by-side holdout test where if you change the look and feel of the layout on a regular basis, you'll enjoy more interaction from it. So that's the template. Those are the containers. That's the design side. Now, the second piece of it is the content, the stuff that we put in it. There is a particular type of content marketing for email that we call sticky content. And I say it's for email because obviously content can mean a lot of things. But what we're talking about is bite-sized little pieces of content that don't typically click out. So we don't have to create large landing pages. These are just little Hershey's Kiss. They're maybe in the sort of second or third piece of a layout that just delight. They add value. The reason why we put these in there is because we want to train our users to open. I don't know if anyone remembers back in the day when the internet started, we're talking about the dictionary.com word of the day. It was early email where you signed up. Once a day, you got a word, and you read the dictionary portion of it. That type of thing is what we're going for with sticky content. We want just simple, little entertaining pieces that can, again, train users to open. So we're not talking about full-blown articles. We're talking about the things that you find at the beginning or end of a magazine. So humor, trivia, did you know, by the numbers, things such as that. And again, we've implemented the template system, but then this also bite-sized sticky content system for many of our clients. Now, the clients, as the marketers, they are bringing their product and promotion content. What we're doing is bringing the fun, bite-sized content that would entertain and delight their audience. So we typically would create those as a batch, or we'll look at a calendar and create, for example, 3 months of them so that we can collate those into our layouts. Now, why would we do it? Because anyone who is talking about themselves, a product or a marketer who's talking about themselves all the time, is kind of like someone who does that at a party. They're typically going to be alone by the end of the night. So we want to blend in bite-sized, entertaining, non-product, not about you, to improve our open rate. I don't know if anyone subscribes to the men's retailer called Huckberry out of the Bay Area. They are a great example of a very long newsletter, and right at the bottom of the newsletter, they do a simple what we are reading, and they link out to Rolling Stones or New York Times, whatever it is, but they do it in a way that keeps me opening. I haven't purchased from there in some time, but I consistently open it because I know there's value in there and it's entertained me in the past. When our teams take this on, we usually start with this exercise, and it's actually quite fun, where we say, okay, what brand and audience are we trying to reach? And then we cross-reference that with all the good things in life, so art, travel, fashion, whatever it might be, and we come up with a bunch of different ideas for what the sticky content vehicles could be, propose those to our clients, and then decide on them. Because again, our clients, they have the offer content. We want to regularly bring this value-added content so, again, it can train users to open. And again, building it as a gallery every 3 months is typically how our teams work because it's very important that it be in there consistently. We've definitely seen these content projects where teams work really hard on creating content for email, and then the email is sent, and then they go quiet with it for 9 months. It doesn't work that way. It has to be in there on a regular basis. So we typically develop a formula for how often it's going to be in there, a cadence of content. And we often call it the sell, sell, fun approach, where every other email or every third email has a little piece of content in it. So hopefully templates or blending of templates and content is something that it would interest you. If you have any interest, I'd love to hear more about your program and if you're going through a redesign. And then lastly, if anyone has interest, we're offering for participants a free creative audit where we'll take a look at up to 5 of your emails, put it through what we call our scorecard for good email design, and then give you some ideas for a redesign in the future. So thank you very much.